nice.
Ooh,
But yeah,
excuse me.
I almost. Who stepped on the frog?
Wow.
That hasn't happened before. Well, hello.
That's gonna be a teaser.
Yeah, it is.
Not
Right.
the top of the show.
Oh man. So
Well,
yeah, carry on from that.
And welcome back to the Rally Back Project, Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up? How you doing, Miss Fidget Spinner over there?
So the last life update, the little
There you go.
phone stand. Leave me alone. I don't know where you want me to put this because if I'm talking to you,
See, there you go, like that. Just talk into the microphone.
okay, but then I have to.
Yeah. So lift it out. You should have done.
Welcome, guys.
You would have thought. You would have thought that we
I
would have did this
thought
before.
it
We did this
was-
before, and
oh
it was
my God,
fine.
We did,
now she's
and it was
talking
good.
over
But now
it, like- There we go.
I have to
You're good.
scrunch down.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, I had something to fidget with during the life update last week,
Mhm.
and
Now
It
you
was
want
helpful.
something to fidget with.
yeah, I kind of need something to mess with, and so I tried to find the quietest fidget spinner, and this thing, when fidget spinners were really in,
Yeah.
I don't think it was super expensive, but it's
I mean, it was
it's
hefty.
hefty.
I think it was like
And,
$30.
what is it? Are they called bearings? The ball,
The ball bearings.
ball bearings are like,
Super.
I mean, it can go for forever.
So
And I was going to put it
if
in
you hear
my,
something,
yeah,
it's not a microphone.
It's probably me.
It's her.
I was going to put it in my other hand because that was off camera, but it looked a little inappropriate. So I
Mhm,
decided to allow my fidgeting.
It's like
on
every now and
camera.
then when I fix my cable,
Yeah, exactly.
it looks.
Yeah. So today was Monday, the Mondayest Monday, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that stuff in
Yeah, the
the
life update.
life update. Oh, and shout outs. So
Yes.
shout outs would normally be this week,
Right.
but again, more in detail in the life update, but I had to buy a new computer, which
Yeah.
means I have to hook everything
Mhm.
back up, and that
You know-
even includes
You know how it is. You think you got you signed into everywhere, this and that, and then you need something that you use all the time. And it's like, oh, you didn't sign in. And then since you use it all the time, you don't have to put your password in all
Right.
the time. So you forget your password.
Yeah, so Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
I use it all the time, and it's
Yeah.
cool, pay. And I'm like,
Right.
no, I did pay, and I don't remember when or what or how I paid. So now I got to do that little.
And we had to do the whole light burn.
I had to
thing
reconnect
today.
my whole laser,
It was a
and
whole
it's
thing.
just
Again, life update. Along with shout outs, I want to give a shout out to everyone that watches, that listens, that support us.
Yes,
Because you not only support us, you guys, when we have guests that need help, you guys
Yeah.
come in full force. And
yeah,
we just want to thank the outpouring of support for Dre Lane.
yeah,
If you didn't catch the live on that Friday that it was supposed to be out for patrons only, we released it early because his situation had worsened from our taping on Monday, our recording on Monday. It happens that quickly.
Yeah.
It is an aggressive form
yeah.
of cancer that he has. He had didn't he go to the doctor today?
He has an appointment. He had an appointment
Right.
today. I haven't seen an update
Right.
yet, and I don't really want to
It's
bug
hard.
him
Exactly.
too much. So I'm just kind of waiting to see, when he
Right.
shares something. I hope it's better than any of us initially thought, and
Right.
not the opposite. But yeah. So several people donated, and Katie sent me she also donated to his GoFundMe. I
Right.
saw she didn't request any recognition at
Right.
all. I just noticed that she had donated. And then she also sent me some money too to help with materials and stuff to make him some stuff. So, obviously he doesn't necessarily want to sell a lot of stuff,
Right.
but just having been through this before with other family and friends, it kind of helps people who are around you to have
Right.
something physical.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also get to donate to you and
Right.
your journey.
Right.
So yeah, I just thank you everyone for your support, and it's been heavy, but it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And just got to make the best of even the Mondayest Mondays, because,
for sure.
you know, we get to have one.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue to this episode brought to you by
Katie, I don't know where to look now. Here? This one?
Listen, I don't know what to tell you anymore. So we're having issues again. This is the whole reason
that
why
you didn't mention the name.
I didn't want to mention what cameras we were using in case something like this happened and we were having connecting issues. And I want to thank our guest who's sitting off the wings over there for rolling with the punches, because these cameras were not connecting.
Yeah.
So
we had to go to plan B.
So you see individual tight shots in this episode, that means the camera, I'm pretty sure they're recording. They just won't stream to StreamYard. Yeah. So but in case this is all, you only see us two together and the guest, that means they did not record. So I don't know where you look. Just look in that general direction. And we'll see what we get.
This episode is sponsored by Katie with Monarch Pine. So you can use code Riley Black for 10% off on her Etsy, monarchpine.etsy.com. My brain glitched for a second.
Yep. I saw it. I was here.
Thank you.
I got the site.
Yeah.
So with that, let's introduce our guest who's been patiently waiting.
Oh, right. Who we got?
We got, man, listen. He sent a list
Yeah.
of like
Do you remember them?
the list.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I don't remember the list. I remember what we talked about right before the show, which became the new list. Like he left out the lead.
Yeah.
Like, so
That's true. We'll talk about all of it on the podcast.
Because I asked him, like, because on the list was like, I moved cross country.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we did that too.
Yeah, where did you start from? And he's like, I've lived in 40 of the 50 states. And I was like, that's awesome.
And accidentally at that.
Yeah, accidentally, because he was I'll let him tell it, but he just went working all over the place and ended up living, months at a time in individual places and hit 40 of the 50 states. He has climbed Machu Picchu.
What was that?
Machu Picchu.
Oh, okay.
It's a mountain.
Yeah.
Not Everest, but it's in Peru.
Yeah.
I believe it's in Peru. We'll ask him. Twice, I think is what it said. But he is. Oh, I shouldn't have. I forgot. This camera is still hooked onto the camera. Welcome to the show, Daniel of Alive Pixel Creates. How's it going, Daniel?
There you go. Very good, guy. How you guys doing?
Good. Is Machu Picchu in Peru?
It is in Peru. And it's not really like a mountain. It is a mountain, but it's not like a Mount Everest. It's more like a citadel built by the Incas, way up high.
That's what it is. Okay.
I
always hear it in relation to like climbing, like making the journey there. So I always think of it as like a mountain.
Yeah.
Well, and I have a funny story about being from Peru and moving to state that I will get there. But when it's funny when you tell people I climbed to Machu Picchu multiple times, they mind that we do peaks and you go like on the mountain, right? But no, it's a whole trail, but it's a really hardcore trail. It's not Colorado, it's not that you are 11,000 feet. Yeah, but still you have a thin air, and probably you're going on paths like this big.
Oof, no.
And you go like, sideways to go because everything's going to fail. So it has his things.
Yeah.
I've never been 11,000 feet when I was in Colorado.
We drove.
No, yeah.
Right.
I didn't do any, Red Rocks.
Remember when we could barely breathe when we were walking around Breckenridge?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a Colorado native, but I'm not like a mountain native. We would go visit the mountains, but we didn't walk up
just
there
to get
regularly.
From the parking lot at Red Rocks to the actual entrance of the amphitheater.
It was the worst. It's gorgeous. It's literally the coolest place to see a concert.
Never saw a concert
getting
there.
to your seats is a workout.
It's a workout. It is.
Yeah, I had to stop several times. And then when you get there, you're like, okay, now it's concert time. Yeah. And then when it's time to leave, then you got to do the decline. And
that
at
was
least
a little
it's
easy because
decline. Yeah. But
Yeah, but you gotta stop yourself because I will roll all the way down.
right.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
after a few drinks.
True, right.
True. Or being high.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that.
So we actually met you for the first time at Next Level.
Yeah,
So it was funny because you actually approached John first.
right.
Yeah.
And John was like,
I was like, I have no. So for those who don't know, Daniel sells jigs,
Yeah.
and he had a whole bunch of jigs. I'm like, these look awesome. These look amazing. They're really well built.
Right.
I'll let my wife know about it because
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm like, do we need jigs? I'd never really seen her use many, but that doesn't mean we can't, So yeah. And then she's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I want to meet him. I'm like, okay, he's around here. When he comes around, I'll point him out.
Yeah.
And I still have the red hook for the keychain thingies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some left.
Nice.
I will be ordering soon because I'm running out.
Hey makers, are you trying to grow your laser business but struggle with things like social media, building local business relationships, setting up your website, how to charge for your products, or when to add employees to your business?
Samita and Anuj Patel are passionate about helping other makers build their laser business and realize that each business owner is at a different stage in their journey. Like many of us, they started with a hobby laser at home but have since grown to a warehouse with 7 lasers, a UV printer, and generate 6 figures in sales and ship out over 5,000 orders a year.
Their one-on-one mentoring sessions are perfect for those who have questions and want answers. The hour-long session will be conducted over Zoom and will be recorded so that you have access to it after as well. No question is off the table, and they will give you actionable steps to take your business to the next level. Book your mentoring call at homeboundcustom.com to start growing your business today.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9-to-5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Yeah, so I've been doing jigs and all that kind of stuff, and mostly it's because I started with everyone, like everyone else, with a laser, and I tried to make my life a little bit easier. So when I started like pretty much everyone with a small diode laser or a small CO2 laser. And I found myself 2.5 years ago, okay, this is a really shitty situation to line up your staff. This is not working to focus your staff, especially 2 years ago.
Right.
So I started designing things for my use.
Yeah.
And as everyone else is, you're in a group, right? And hey, I have this issue, and I was like, I made this for me, and it's working fine. Can you make one for me? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Then hey, can you make another one? This person wanted. Oh, okay. So I started making 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden, I was taking on my shelf and putting 3D printers. And my girlfriend was like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
Because I still run my full other business that I have a marketing agency for about 20 years. It's a live pixel period. And I do design and marketing. That's my kind of my full-time job.
Right.
And I get into lasers because my customers didn't have the budget. I work with a lot of startups. So they didn't have the budget to say, hey, I'm going to this event and I can't afford 1,000 coasters. I just need 100.
Right.
Okay. So it was too expensive to make just 100 with, a bunch of companies. But you know what? These small lasers will do this job. So I start with my customers on the marketing agency, making their merchandise, basically.
Nice.
And just kind of start, snowballing
right.
everything what I was going to.
That's how
And I
like
just
all of ours have started. They've all snowballed.
yeah
Every
yeah
every
it's
like
a big
Every
supplier,
snowball.
every blank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keychain thingies was a snowball.
Yeah.
Was I needed them,
Yeah.
and then everyone was like, "Me too," and
Right.
I'm like, "Okay,
Well,
sure,
Cerulean
Yeah.
Tide, you guys went
Yeah.
in on bulk, and then now she's in
Yeah.
this humongous warehouse.
right."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane because sometimes we overseen what other people really need because
Mhm.
we don't need it. We don't use it as much.
Right.
Mhm.
We don't see the need, you know.
Mhm.
But then I found that all the companies with different lasers, because on my website we try to create not just the jig. We have a bunch of different accessories and crazy
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
And I start seeing different uh, lacks on the industry. This will help with this and expedite the job. So I
Mhm.
was okay. I'm going to design something to supply for it,
Mhm.
and it started with that really,
Yeah.
and just connecting with people, talking with people. And one of the things that Tess and I, Tess, my girlfriend, we try to do a lot is help people because
Yeah.
we all start somewhere, right?
Right.
And you gotta help people because ultimately that person might become a customer, or when she has a problem or he has a problem, say, like, hey, let's share this big client that I can't handle, so let's do it
Right.
together,
Mhm.
and we like to kind of put ourselves a little bit out and try to find a way to work with them.
Mhm.
Of course, clients are the best and the worst. So you have all kind of clients, you know. But this industry is a lot different than marketing industry. In the marketing, your clients are eating you alive 24/7.
Mhm.
On the laser industry, mostly since I supply people that work with lasers, they
Mhm.
understand the client part
Right.
Right.
because they suffer it, right? They came
Right.
with
Right.
a problem. So they're really trying to work always with us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
which
bet.
is nice.
So, what did you? I mean, we know what you did because you sent me an email. But so, what did you do before the cool? I guess the cooler jobs. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as cool as sometimes us on the outside think it is. But the reason why you were in so many states, what were you doing for that?
So I graduated on art school and eventually got my master's and all that, and all this was in Peru. So past time, my mom, my family live here in the States, and ultimately she's like, "Why you don't come over to States? I mean, you don't have family down in Peru, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually the first in my family to say that kind of a grew in
Mm-hmm.
Peru completely in that way, or went with the whole thing. And but basically, I moved here. But what happened when you immigrate to another country? It's so hard to get a job in what you do.
Mhm.
Right.
You kind of gotta prove yourself in a way, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to get into a job like that. So I started looking for freelance jobs,
Which
mostly with companies, design
by
and marketing.
Yeah. By the way,
And
I think this
yeah,
is a good time to also congratulate you on becoming
Yes.
a US citizen. He's like, on
oh,
what?
thank you. I
It
didn't do it.
wasn't me. But that's awesome.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know it's harder. I think most Americans can't pass
Mhm.
what the the test and the requirements are to
I
become a
mean,
US citizen. So congrats on that for
thank
sure.
you, thank you. It was actually long overdue, but
Hmm.
it took me almost 10 years
Wow.
to finalize the whole thing, and probably because I didn't decide to go through a lawyer. Like a lot of people said,
Mm.
I just paid an immigration lawyer and they figure it out and they just sit there until their papers come up,
Right.
right? I was a little bit stubborn and cheap, I'm gonna say, and I decided to go to the immigration to basically Social Security website and
Hmm.
read everything I need one by one and do it myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it took me a little longer than it should,
Yeah.
but it
Hey,
finally
you did it.
came through. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
actually
awesome.
nice. So now I have my blue passport.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, but yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's been the last 2 years. It's been a lot of different things that kind of sweep our life completely.
Mm-hmm.
And still it's harder. People think that once you become a citizen, it's like, oh well, your life is already fixed. No, it really
Right.
doesn't change much.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You still have all the same duties that you have in your entire life. So
Right.
it's just part of how you want to achieve different things, especially when you want to retire, most likely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does it change? Does it change like any of your work or anything like
No,
that? No.
not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Especially with being, I mean, a business owner, right? So
Hmm.
yeah.
So a couple of things that a lot of people know, and you guys talk with a lot of different guests before. When you're a business owner, you don't have a time, you don't have a special
Right.
W-2, so you got to kind of push through it,
Right.
and you work Monday to Monday,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter what. So really doesn't change much.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of things that now it will be beneficial for me
Mm.
in different ways, because, for example, the social security overall,
Mm-hmm.
as a permanent resident that I was, is not fully ineffective for me. So if
Mm.
something would have happened in that time, I don't get the full benefits of my
Yeah.
social
Okay.
security.
Right.
Now I can apply for it if something will happen to me.
Mm.
And things like that. So there's
Yeah.
a little bit of a brackets there, like a tax
Right.
that they
Right.
go with it, but
Yeah.
just to pay your same taxes and you still get screwed in the same way.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Attention, all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser ready blanks.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best in class customer support, Lens Digital is your one stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more.
So when you came over, it was difficult for you to then, basically prove yourself and find something here. So how did you navigate that?
So the first thing, I think this is the proper part for this. I want to die with this thing on my mind because it still is shocking me for me. I remember it, and you're like, I can't believe it. So when I first came here, I was still working with a Live Pixel, because a Live Pixel also, we have an office in South America, in Peru, where it still
Okay.
works on the design part. So I was at Starbucks every morning, religiously. Every morning, open my lab to get my coffee and refill for free because I drink so much coffee.
Yeah.
So I was there every morning, and eventually people start saying hi to you. You're
Right.
always there, right?
Right.
So there was this lady. I'm gonna say that she was 300 years old, but she was there, and always go and sit at the table right next to me. I have my own station already. I
Yeah.
just need my name on the table.
Right. Reserved.
And she was every morning there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And one day she went, "What is your name?" I'm there. No, nice to meet you. Then, and my English was even worse than what it is now. And hi, I need a Coke.
Right.
So she started asking me different things. What do you do? And I explained some things, what I could.
Mhm.
And then one of these days, she sat on my table instead of the table next to me. And now what? Okay.
Like,
I don't know what I'm gonna say,
right.
and I was completely weirded out because one of the things that we know outside the United States is like, hey, careful, you don't kind of a don't bump with people because they can accuse you of anything.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, it's the country of the lawsuit, so you don't
Yeah.
want to have that. So it's like, oh, we're like, oh, don't be close, too
Right.
close. And she sat at my table, and I was like, okay. And she goes like, you must be very, very happy. And I'm like, no
Maybe.
clue. Like,
Where are you going with this?
Right.
What do you
I
want?
think so. Yes. What? Why? She's like, well, we in the United States have coffee shops and internet and all this and all that.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. So she overheard a conversation that I have with someone that I came from Peru, and she was like, I heard you are from Peru. And I was, yeah, I grew up in Peru. And she was like, oh, it's so nice. So how you feel that you have access to internet? And I was thinking, in my head was like 100 miles an hour. It's like, what do you think
Oh,
this
yeah.
Peru? I
Right.
didn't
my
live over a
gosh.
tree. I mean, I wasn't on a cave, in fact, McDonald's was 5 minutes from my house.
Right. And they probably
Right?
had internet.
Right. And I was thinking like, yeah, no, it's really nice. Yeah, you're right. And she was,
Yeah,
well,
sure.
welcome, young man, welcome. And she just walked away, and I was like, completely black. So that's the part that
Oh,
takes me to
Americans.
how you, right? All the Americans.
Yes.
But
There's-
yeah, let's leave it at that.
Right.
No one is gonna buy anything from me anymore. But the thing was that, in a way, that kind of teach me what people would expect from me.
Right.
Mhm.
Because every time I was applying for a job, they asked me for all these qualifications that I did have,
Right.
but they were not from here. So everyone said like, we went another route, and I was like,
Mhm.
so yeah. So all of a sudden, this company said like, we need a freelance.
Mhm.
So, oh, okay.
Sure. Okay.
So they hired me. Then the company closed in Florida. I was in Orlando, Lake Mary. They closed there and they moved to Texas. So they said like, hey, we want to hire you, but in Texas. And I went, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I grabbed my stuff, went to Texas,
Yeah.
not knowing anyone. I went to Texas.
I could never.
Oh my God. I was, as much as I tell everyone, like, doesn't matter. I mean, it's another place. I
Yeah.
was terrified every time I moved.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to
I
just
promise
learn
you.
everything all over. Like we've been here a year,
Yeah.
over a year, and I'm still like, oh, that's new. Oh, I haven't seen that before.
Right.
Oh, that's here, or oh, that's close enough to go. You know what I mean? Like I just,
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine. I
Yeah.
like some change, but I'm very particular on what change I like. and
Yeah, you are.
and moving and getting to know all new everything is not on my list of enjoyments. No.
Yeah. It's hard to an extent.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that before moving here, I was already traveling with different mining companies here and there, doing this and that. So I
You're
kind
a
of
little
have a
used
little
to
bit
it,
of
yeah.
travel over.
Right.
But here was different because, number one, I didn't have the language completely on a fully understanding. And you go to Texas and they start talking in the Texan,
Oh
no
my
English,
Yeah.
on a Texan, and you are like,
What?
yes, no,
Sure.
right? Yeah, maybe. So it was a little hard. And then I ended up in this company with these meetings, and these meetings was someone on the phone. They're like,
Oh my gosh.
you got it? And I was like, oh, what? So it was one of those ugly ass conference speakers that sounds like a airport.
Yeah.
Right.
So I gotta get all my stuff there. So I start getting more used to whatever that speaker says.
Right.
And then the company was like, well, we're gonna do something different. So we are finding some other team. Sounds good. I end up in Kentucky and then Tennessee, and it start ping ponging everywhere. And it's like one project closed, 3-6 months, found another project, grab your stuff, go. grab your
Wow.
stuff, go. And I ended up in Colorado. I
Nice.
stood in Colorado for about 4 years.
Nice.
And
Where at
that's
in
where
Colorado?
Longmont.
Okay.
And that's where I met my girlfriend, and she wasn't my roommate.
Nice. See, so he found his in Colorado. Well, you didn't find me in Colorado, but you found you Coloradan.
They like themselves some Spanish folk in
We
Colorado.
do. Have you seen the men in Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's tough. It's tough for you guys out there.
yeah. I mean,
We
you're
come
using
in
Sasquatch. It's like a Sasquatch, but all shaved.
Yes, with the man
No,
buns.
they're really
Yeah.
tall now, though. Yeah, I was 20 minutes from Boulder, so yeah.
Yeah. Lots of man buns in Boulder.
Yeah.
And very not gifted with the gab, those guys.
Which the man buns?
Just no,
Or
just
just
in
anyone?
general, the guys
Oh
in
man,
Yeah.
it was
Colorado. They
it was
didn't
so
really have.
bad. I remember just being. We were long distance for 2 years, and
Oh man.
the work that you could put in just in communication 2,000 miles away compared to like the communication of men or boys, I should say, who lived, within driving distance. It was terrible. There's a reason you haven't been allowed to leave.
you have a special place, right? Yeah. No, but I mean, Colorado was a whole different scenario. But a lot of people think that being in Peru, and they say, "Oh, people is like that." Oh, Machu Picchu isn't a plane distance from me. I mean, that ain't close. I live by the coast. I'm like a California guy. I have the beach right there. Go and surf, or rollerblade if you want.
Right.
But that's what I was doing, rollerblade when I was a kid. now I have the rollerblades, but nah. Gravity calls me more nowadays. I don't know why.
And arthritis.
Yeah.
That's right.
And when you fall, you're likely gonna hurt something, break something, tear
Seriously.
something.
Oh no!
So.
If I fall right now, I cry. I used to cry. I'm not gonna lie, I cry.
Just if you fall, make sure you call a lawyer.
Yeah. It's on my rollerblades. But yeah, so Colorado was a different story. I love it because the mountains. I was going out on my motorcycle on the mountains as much as I could and everything.
Yeah.
And now we're in upstate, right in the beginning of the Appalachians. So I have the mountains 5 minutes from my house and all the lakes and everything. So I'm still kind of enjoyed that, which was really important for me, though.
Yeah.
But we found an option to buy a house, and that was a whole other issue because as an immigrant, I didn't have my citizenship right now. So what happened was the whole bank scenario turns into, oh, maybe we can do this. No, seriously.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's hard for even us to buy a house. I can only imagine how difficult it would be, for an immigrant to buy as well.
And you have no idea. I got taxed 20% when I sold my property from Peru. So whatever I sold, gave the good old Sam 20%, and I was like, ouch. Yeah, I'm still paying the taxes though.
So how long did you do that job that you were kind of bouncing around?
For about 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you did some 3D animation. Did you do some for Disney and stuff, or what was
so long time ago? So I'm one of the 5 originals. That sounds prestigious, but it's not. But it's not. So I want to call the forgotten child. Okay. I finished high school in '95, and when I finished high school, I decided to do 3D animation. 1995 3D animation. It was the worst 3D animation in the world, but that was the only one that. That was the only one that paid the bills at that time. So there were like 5 or 6 people in the whole Peru that was doing that. So I have an uncle that he found me a couple gigs to make 3D models and 3D stuff. not animation, but just the model
Mm.
itself. So I made the models that were part of different movies with DreamWorks, with Sony and stuff.
That's
And I ended
awesome.
up doing the 3D model for other games like car games on AI Entertainment and all that too, like freelancers.
Nice.
So I ended up doing all that. And over time, I ended up teaching almost 7 years 3D animation on one of the colleges in Peru.
Nice. Can you 3D animate logos?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
We're
can
gonna
3D
talk
animate.
afterwards.
I can 3D animate you too.
Okay, listen. So we actually we'll talk. We have some ideas, and we just didn't think we knew a person. And now that we know a
we
person,
know a person.
Oh.
yeah.
Should I
Nice.
worry? Should I worry?
Don't
No,
be worried.
no, don't be
No.
Don't be worried.
You're like,
What
"Oh,
was,
it wasn't me."
So getting into the laser aspect, what was your first machine?
So my first machine was an X-Tool D1,
Okay.
and I have a really hard learning curve with that one because
Yeah.
the D1 wasn't the friendliest machine to start with, to
Right.
be
I did hear
honest.
that.
But the machine was faulty in every possible way. I mean, whatever's supposed to work didn't work.
Right. Well, that's really tough to learn that way because you probably don't know if it's you, like,
Right.
because there's a lot of user error in the beginning of like learning
Yeah.
something new, right? Especially lasers. But then if there is some issues with the equipment as well,
Yeah.
that only just makes it that much more frustrating to learn and figure something out. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was actually pretty much, and I almost burned down my garage because the first machine was a 10 watt. That was the maximum that you can get at that time.
Mhm.
And they didn't have a honeycomb or anything similar.
Oof.
So when you cut something, you cut it straight wherever your machine is. I didn't know to what extent the fire hazard was a fire hazard.
Right.
So-
Especially with the 10 watt. You wouldn't think that it's too much, but I mean, if
it
there's
is.
a laser beam at all, it's a fire
Yeah.
hazard. So
Yeah, I learned that pretty fast.
right.
So I was trying to make a little jewelry box. Like
Mm.
first project, and I go for a jewelry box, right? So I was cutting the
Mhm.
plywood, and it was cutting fine. So I was like, okay, this is cutting. I'm in the garage, door open, and everything, right? And it was already like 10% or something cutting, no problem whatsoever. All right. So I just walk outside my garage. Then
Oh my
the
god.
heck,
Someone
I
barbecuing?
turned. Yeah, inside my garage. And I just turned around, and the whole laser was going. And you see that blue diode light of the laser between the smoke and all the flames. And I was like,
Oh my god.
oh man. So that laser was probably a week old,
Oh no.
and I burned it, right?
Oh no.
And I was like, okay. So I contacted the company to buy the spare parts that I thought
Right.
I'll need. I was like, all right, you know what? My guy will make a plane with a paper clip. I can fix this. So it was a little harder than I thought,
Yeah.
especially the support. At that time, the support
Mhm.
that I have was like every 3-4 weeks responses.
Oof.
So I was like, you know what? I know a little bit of this and that because I kind of like technology
Right.
overall. So I took apart the whole thing on my own, figured out how it works, and
Nice.
I
You
built
sound
my
like
own
him.
fix. Right? Well, we men,
Yeah.
barbecue, grill, meat, fix. That's all we do. Give me a hammer.
Right?
Yeah,
And some duct tape.
yeah,
I'll
duct tape.
fix it.
I mean, cars run with duct tape, right? That's a thing.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I see it is like at that point, it's already broken.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So,
opening
yeah.
it up and like looking
Right.
at it is not gonna break it more.
Yeah. Like
So-
the infamous printer that I talk about all the time. That I was ready to go
Yeah.
Office Space the hell out of that
Yeah.
thing, and he was like, no. I think we just need to clean the nozzles. And I was like, what does that entail? And he's like, oh, well, I have to open it up. And I was like, I'm out. And he's like, no. Let me
Not for
try.
another
And
5 years.
I was ready to I was like grabbing my bag to go to the store because I could no longer print my manifests. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be that jerk who's dropping off 20 packages and expecting them to scan each one without a manifest. So,
But
yeah,
but then
sure
comes the
enough, we
other
fixed it.
problem that you end up with a table with all the parts, right? And you don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
That's why
So
you go to YouTube.
yeah, my problem was the machine was still so new
Yeah.
that the YouTube to fix it was close to, you're watching how to fix a Volkswagen Beetle and you have a Mustang. It's kind of the same comparison.
Right.
And I was out of my league. But eventually I figured it out. I put it together. I started the laser, works, cut
Nice.
everything. And I was like, you know what? This needs to be safer. So I started educating myself a little
Yeah.
bit more. So if okay, I gotta raise the material. Oh, I need air now. I need this. I need that. And I made this guy Kobe Schmidt. Probably you guys saw it somewhere in the groups. Sometimes he put like a comment here there. He has a store as well, and he's a really tech guy. Like really, he's a dinosaur tech guy. You know, if you need to fix something, most likely he already fixed it 20 times.
Yeah.
And he kind of got me under his wing and said, okay, this work like this work like that. He started explaining a bunch of stuff. And we're really good friends now. We talk a lot. He has a store that says accessories and stuff also for lasers. And we collaborate. Hey, I want to sell this. You want to sell this? Oh, I don't want to sell this. I don't want to step on your toes. So here's what I want to do. Here's what you can do. So we collaborate a lot. But he was the first person that I met on the laser industry that was willing to help. That's important.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it for a money. I see, we all need to make a living either way.
Right.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people try to take advantage of the needs of others. He never asked for a penny on any way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really nice.
Ooh,
But yeah,
excuse
I almost who stepped on the frog?
Wow.
That hasn't happened before. Well, hello.
That's gonna be a teaser.
Yeah, it is.
Not
Right.
the top of the show.
Oh man.
Wow.
Carry on from that. Okay, so how many lasers do you have now? Are you like the rest of us that hoards them?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this one, well, there. That's the problem with this one here. Yeah. So this one here just came a week ago.
Nice.
I have the other brother, Ander, and I have two more in this table.
Nice.
Then on my back shop, I have the fiber laser, the F1 Ultra, and like 6 more lasers more, and 7 3D printers.
Woo.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I something just
It-
changed with the sound. That was weird.
And almost one computer in every room.
Nice.
Yeah, I bet. So I want a 3D printer soon. So but a lot of people have asked like if we're gonna like use it to like enhance the business, and I'm like, if you do, from what I know from it, you have to have a bunch of them in order to be able to make a business of it. Kind of like you don't have to. There's ways around it. But honestly, it's just to print like fun stuff that's back here.
So I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on a 3D printing though,
For sure.
because a lot of people think that I've been 3D printing for ages because the way I have my products 3D printed, and they compare. Of course, I get compared with a lot of different other sellers on Etsy or whatever.
Yeah.
In my case, it's different because I'm a 3D designer that jump into the 3D printing world.
Right.
And I've been 3D printing for 2.5 years only.
Wow.
I'm like fairly new.
That is kind of
new.
surprising.
I'm very new.
Yeah.
But in my case, it's because I use my 3D printer for something that I already knew, just to bring it up. When you don't know nothing on 3D, you gotta learn the CAD. If you want to do your own stuff, now you can buy the model and print it.
Right.
It's a whole different ball game.
Right.
The thing that I hate most, even though we do a lot of service and maintenance on our lasers, 3D printing is a different kind of maintenance that for whatever reason for me is annoying as crap.
Yeah.
My laser, I can clean it. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
The 3D printer is like probably a couple more weeks. Yeah,
Right. I'll do that later.
Yeah. So
I'll use the other 6.
right.
Yeah.
So it works great. It's a good thing. You don't need a
Yeah.
whole farm. You can do a business with one, depending what you're doing, and depending which 3D printer. Because you can.
Right.
There's a little wait there. There's a little guy there. That's my prototyping 3D printer. So whatever I do before I send it to the big ones, go there.
Nice.
I test it, whatever, and then okay, go to the production ones.
Yeah.
So if I do this one, goes there first.
Yeah.
So that one is an inexpensive 3D printer, and it's really good. Really good. Actually, surprising.
What is
So
it?
this is a bamboo A1 mini,
Okay.
and with all these spools, so it's for 4 colors.
Oh, nice.
I think it comes to about $400, $500. I mean,
nice.
It's not super expensive. What you would expect.
Yeah.
That's the job very well, honestly.
Yeah.
The other ones I have on the shop are bamboo as well, X1 carbon. Those are about 12 or 1,300 each. And those are more like a workhorse kind of 3D printer.
I forget which one I want. It's the one that's like popular for people to kind of like just buy startup Is it P1S?
P1S, yeah.
P1S, yeah. So
that's a really great. I have one of those too. That's great.
And then the one above that, I guess people were saying like that they're really similar, but that the one above it has a good time lapse camera, and I love me a good time lapse. So I think I'll probably get the one above that. But I was sold when I heard about the bed leveling and just the extra kind of like the ease of use, because I heard nightmares about people getting 3D printers. And I mean, even my own friend, like she couldn't, like she bought, I don't know, I think it was a $200 or $300 one on Amazon, and she was running into issues on like not all of her jobs, but she'd get like 1 or 2 good prints, and then the third one would fail at like 12 hours or 20 hours, or she couldn't get her bed level, and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't want any part of that.
That is one of the things that keep me away from 3D printing. Even being a 3D artist,
right?
He just like I don't want it.
Yeah,
I mean, I have enough problems in my life. I don't want it.
Right. Let me not add a piece of equipment.
And can you imagine me moving across country with my 3D printer everywhere? No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I just start with a cheap line of 3D printers. So I bought one. Then people start asking me for things. I bought a second one. In matter of, I'm gonna say 4 months, I have 6 3D printers.
Wow.
And that was before.
Quickly.
Yeah. And that was before the bamboo 3D printers were in the market. So I was like a moron every day fixing something on the 3D printer. And I was like, God damn. But then came the carbon, and I was like, I want to buy one to see how it goes.
Right.
One was doing the job of 4.
Wow. See, and that's a perfect example of having the right tool for the job, and having one that works well will save you time and effort like down the road too. Because sure, do the other ones work? Can you make them work temporarily? Long term, if you can afford something else, you're actually going to buy yourself time, which we all want and need.
Yeah.
So and I mean, you can't actually buy yourself time, but like again, if it's doing the same job that
just
4
don't
of
sleep.
your other printers were doing,
don't sleep. I mean, who sleep, right?
Right? Yeah, you don't need sleep.
That's for employees,
right? Exactly.
Not for the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the owner don't sleep. Well, unless you are Bezos or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I sold all my printers, and I have one that was doing the job and everything. And then, of course, I'm very blessed because I have really good people. I have customers that start with me with my very first product. That was actually my first product was a honeycomb. I built our own honeycomb.
Wow.
That was my first product.
Wait, like a real honeycomb or like a honeycomb bed?
A honeycomb bed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my very first product. I make my own honeycomb bed.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
I was
thinking actual bees.
all aluminum and all that.
Cool I was like,
Right?
I mean, you can 3D print anything nowadays, so it wouldn't be super.
Right? Come on, that's normal.
Right,
But no,
yeah, totally.
like a laser, aluminum laser honeycomb bed completely. That was my very first product that I was
Wow.
selling. And I was selling them for $50 on Etsy. Like
Wow.
in that time, they were like $180 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm 2.5 years ago, and I was like, that's way overpriced. I mean, I can get all the materials, and I still make like 2 or 3 times the cost.
Yeah.
You know, so I started selling $50 honeycombs on Etsy.
Nice.
So that's how I started, and then I made a Z-axis for moving the head of the laser and all that kind of stuff. And it from there, yes, it evolved to more. But it was interesting.
So tell us a little bit more, I guess, about what the more is. What kind of I'm a very terrible affiliate of his, by the way. And this course has literally consumed our lives. And I have where are the jigs even at? Though they're over there somewhere. They're probably near the fiber, I hope.
Yeah, they have to be near the fiber.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to be.
We haven't even used them yet, but they're going to be amazing. They are currently amazing. We just haven't been able to use them yet. But what other like accessories and laser accessories do you?
So, I actually have my own rotary, believe it or not. So back in the days, X-Tool rotary was just a roller, and that. I'm sorry, rollers are cute, but everything is lights everywhere.
Right.
Every 3 jobs, everything goes skew, and you gotta try to put something. So I make a whole rotary, and I contact a company in China. The Kobe present me to this person in China, and I got everything I need to create like Lego style. Assemble your rotary, so it has a tilt and everything, and it's not to the level of a PI burn or Pi burn. It's not the same rotor boss level, but it really actually does exactly the same thing. Yeah, like there's no difference. Yeah, right. So you just grab.
It does the job. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's $150 on my website.
Yeah.
You know, and the only condition was when you buy your rotary for X-Tool, use this part from your rotary and put it in this other rotary. You're good to go.
Yeah.
So I did a rotary. I have a honeycomb alignment for these open frame D1s. The biggest problem was to have because if you can't have your honeycomb center in your laser, definitely your products are not center or square. So you're like guessing. So I make a whole system to have everything aligned completely, so you don't need to worry about alignment. I have those. I have a Z-axis. I have a drag chain system. So all the cables, instead of being hanging everywhere on your laser, they go through a line. So I have a bunch of different accessories that it will help people to kind of overcome limitations on their machines. And I go by machine. So you can, on my website, I have everything by machines.
Nice.
And one of the things that we do, and this is something that we start doing with Tess, is we don't sell nothing that we don't use.
Nice.
So if you see a laser on my website that I'm selling something for that laser, it's because I have the machine and I use it. Right. So a lot of people, everyone is doing that. I have all the machines. I use them. Like I point the wrong way. This machine, this machine here. The owner, Leo, he's from Canada, but he lives in China. He started making this machine, and one day I saw him and I asked, "Hey, I saw that you have a lot of the stuff that I designed for my store on your machine." So we started thinking that, yeah, we actually saw what you do, and we kind of implement the same concepts on our machines. And I was like, "Oh, you want me to send you one?" And I was like, "Sure." So he sent me the machine, and not for saying anything, but being on the diode line of lasers, a lot of people say like, "No, CO2 is for business. You can make a living with a diode if you have the right machine." This machine I don't know if I can say the name. It's fine. Did I say the name right?
Yeah.
Uh, so this is a Rolly laser. It's
Okay.
one of those class one enclosed completely, and I
Mhm.
have connected to my filter box.
Mm.
That they gave me one to test and demo and everything. It's super
Yeah.
good. It's the best filter I ever used. Although um, this laser never failed me once, and I
Nice.
make everything on it.
Yeah.
And
How do you say? Can you spell the name for me again?
yeah, it's Rolly Matic. Is Rolly laser. Is ROLI Y. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard
Uh, it's one of those underseen manufacturers.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest. I prefer this company and the
Mhm.
machine
Yeah.
100 times over an X2.
Mm.
Even though X2 is such a big company, they work.
Right.
This one worked with Lightburn,
Yeah.
but they took care of giving you everything on Lightburn. Have the camera, have everything, and everything is pre-configured, preset. I have here. Well, it's gonna be mirror most likely.
Mm. I
Yeah.
can't see it.
So-
It's too far away.
It will focus eventually.
Yeah.
Ah,
They can see.
So-
I'm just blind.
right? They send all the files there pre-configured, including the camera and all that. So you're
Mm.
actually out of the door with
Yeah.
a completely functional laser, and it's zero assembly.
Nice.
You just cut the belts,
Yeah.
take the screws out, and
Yeah.
plug it in.
Nice.
Now it's a machine that costs you under $1,500,
Hmm.
and it's a really good machine. I've been so impressed by them.
Yeah.
Then I mean, I put it inside my office. This is my daily use, whatever laser I need.
Nice.
You know,
I
so
love
it's,
that
it's
there's just not that there weren't other lasers out when a lot of us got into it. But the one that especially all of us like crafters or silhouette or wherever we came from and then got a Glowforge, we didn't
Yeah.
see the others.
Right.
And even if we did see the others, there was the options were definitely a lot more limited than they are
Mhm.
now. And even like the awesome like smaller CO2s that some of the companies are coming out
Right.
with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolt, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
like let me see. And they just made it like just so innovative, and they made it so much easier for people to check it out, try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
with
accessible.
all different, much more
Yeah.
accessible, tons of different features depending on what you like doing or what you want to do. And yeah, I love that, before it was like, buy a Glowforge if you don't really want to learn, but like there wasn't a lot out there to really
Right.
offer them. X-Tool is still starting, and so it's like you
Well,
can't really recommend like a diode when people want like a plug and play CO2.
Right.
Like you can, they
Yeah.
just don't do the same things.
Right.
You
And
know?
I feel there
Yeah.
also wasn't as many resources there are now. So
no, definitely
when you're
not.
talking about individual like powers and
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about the speed, it's a language where now you can find
Oh,
the
I was
resource
terrified
to
of that
help
language.
translate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where before you were pretty much on your own.
Yeah.
Looking at like if you're shopping on Amazon, looking at the specs,
Right.
like what does all this mean?
Oh, and they lie so much on the specs on
yeah.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you have
LEDs.
Oh my god. The LEDs.
Don't laugh. It's not funny when you're trying to do an LED
No.
You can,
course.
he can laugh. It's allowed. But I did.
I have all kind of LEDs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did all of my research, and
Yeah.
I looked at those pictures like with a fine tooth comb. I looked at the descriptions. I looked at like the product
Yeah.
specifications, and then I got them. And the pictures didn't even match the fucking LEDs that were in the box. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
piece of shit. I was so
Yeah.
mad. Oh,
Yeah.
it was the worst.
Yeah, well, if you want a person, so I have this person in China that works for me. Not for me, but we work
Mhm.
together. Like a broker. She's an independent broker.
Mm.
So literally for me, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna use this. This is a terrible example. Katie, don't
Yeah.
kill me. You want something like this?
Right.
This is from Katie. This is from
Yeah.
Monarch Pine.
Yes.
You want something like this? You just send a picture. Go fetch.
Mm.
Literally.
Right.
Here are all the manufacturers. These are all the specs, all the pricing. Pick whatever you want.
Nice.
So I have a person in China that does that with me because I use so many different screws, so many different things for what I
Right.
build.
I bet.
That one of the things I try to use is all stainless steel as possible. And as much as I love to put my money on the local economy,
Right.
I don't like to be ripped off every time I go to the store.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And my first prototype on the Z-axis cost me about $400 to make.
Yeah.
Because you got to CNC this and CNC that and do all the
Right.
stuff and do your own thing. Now I send everything to manufacturer in China. They cut it, they make it for me based on my specs, and they send it. And it's not $400. It's something that I can sell in $60 for a person.
Right.
And I make a cut. So we don't try to overcharge a lot because, again, I still have my full-time job with design and stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
my business is really important. Also, I don't want to go under for no reason.
Right.
But we don't try to break anyone's bank at the same time.
Yeah.
Nice.
But is that
So, speaking of products, and you were talking about your website earlier, where can people find you?
so? We are on alivepixelcreates.com. Like I have it there. Someone to read it? I don't know. Maybe. So we have alivepixelcreates.com. We have the same on Etsy, and also you can put in Google literally Alive Pixel Creates. Even you can put Alive Pixel Creations and my YouTube with tutorials that I've been doing.
Nice.
Or the website or Etsy pops up, and everything is divided by what you want. Depending on what you want, you go to the website. Everything is super graphic, super easy. And we also offer free help. So let's say that you got a jig. You saw that little secret message letter that Katie has.
Right. Yeah.
So we made this one for her.
Nice.
So you have the letter here and the letter down here, and then the envelope goes up here. All our jigs come with a template. So you get an SVG that you use on any laser, or if you are X tool, because we make them this size and there's a reason for it, you put it on the F1 and fits exactly there.
Nice.
Right. So if you have a bigger laser, oh yes, yeah, the ones that you have are the same size. So take the plate on your X tool and put this plate in.
Good to know.
And if you want to use a fiber with a 200 lens, normally when you do these engravings, you do it on 100 lens. So this is perfect for 100 lens.
Okay.
But if you want to do double because you have a large production,
Right.
you can put one and stack the other one next to it and a 200 and just duplicate the file. The files are usually the whole perimeter. You duplicate the file and you just go with that, and you can fill the whole CO2 bed if you want it.
Right.
And we have customers that buy for keychains and stuff. They buy in bulk. So they say, I need 20 for my Tundra.
Nice.
Okay, so they contact me usually before we gave it a big discount, so they buy it in bulk and they get like 20 of the same jigs, so they can just stack them.
Nice.
Or buy four, you have 4 different things going on your laser, whatever is your production type. But we found that this is really modular for people. This is from Lancaster. No, this is Great Lakes Laser Supply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blake.
Yeah, with Blake. Yep.
Nice.
This is with Blake. This is the belt for Blake. We have it here with a male and female sides, so you don't mess up the belt.
Right.
So yeah, and
when you made us two as well, the baby
The onesie,
not onesie, the bodysuit.
Bodysuit.
Yeah, and then
and the house
shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we put 2 days ago. We put this one for it's a stretcher for the cozies. The leather.
Nice.
So you just put it there. You can just put it flat, whatever. So it's nice and flat.
Nice.
So we just try to make the life a little bit easier for people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because honestly, it takes so much time aligning everything, making sure that it's square. You frame 20 times and still you get it wrong.
Right.
And
Well, and it's hard because the items that people are using most of the items that people are using your jigs for are small items. So if you're off a little bit, it's a lot more obvious than if you're off on like a much bigger piece. I mean, I'll still notice, but a lot of other people won't notice.
OCD kicks in and it's like, oh no.
Right.
And even the clients sometimes don't notice though, because I'm like you. I mean, I see it and I'm like, oh my God, this shit is off. But the client is like, it's beautiful, and you're dying inside. You're like, no.
So you gave us 2 coupons. Do you remember the codes? Yes, one was Riley Black, right? The other one, don't say it, but there's another one. And so what do the general admission people, as John called them,
admission.
What do they get with code Riley Black?
So they get 5% off on the website, and it doesn't matter what you buy. I mean, whatever you choose, you will get at the end of your card a 5% off. We would like to make bigger, but again, we're not trying to break anyone's bank, so we're kind of cheap on our stuff.
Nice.
Very well made, not cheap made though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then how long is the code good for?
Forever.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
It's an active forever code. Every user can use it as many times as they want.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
So we are doing things a little bit differently.
We're trying to reel ourselves in and keep it to an hour, and then if it goes over,
we're already over, but it doesn't matter. It's the first time.
Not by much.
It's the first time. Yeah. So Daniel, you stay there because we're gonna continue this conversation over on Patreon. You see what we're doing? Y'all see what we're doing? So
we learned Alex did this.
Yeah,
and we're
Alex does it. Yeah. So we're gonna continue talking to Daniel for a little bit.
Yeah.
Over on Patreon. So if you want to hear the rest of the interview, head over there. I don't know what it's gonna be. It's not
we
like
have no idea.
Yeah, it's more. I feel like it'll probably be a little more of like an after dark feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little more. When we get offline with people, anyway, we keep talking, and it's typically about lasers and work, but it's just a little bit more relaxed because it's not like the show for everyone. So,
but we keep the shirts on, right?
I mean,
optional,
clothing optional for the Patreon. It's behind a paywall, so that's fine. So if you're on Patreon, we're just gonna roll right into the conversation. So join Patreon if you're not, and if you're not a patron, I'm sorry, but the show ends here.
Right. Well, stay not really.
No, because we have the life update. Yeah.
But
so if you're not a Patreon, stay tuned for the life update coming up next. And we are back.
Yes.
Don't know where you left off.
For what?
I don't know. Some of these people are going to be general admission.
Right.
Some are going to be
now
patron.
It's a 2-hour-long podcast.
Yeah. We went on so many tangents after.
Well, it happens all the time. It's really hard to just
So if
we just relate and we weren't even talking about laser stuff for all of it. Most of it was just personal.
If you're a patron member, and you've gotten this far, thank you.
Right.
First, foremost. Secondly, that's how it goes after we stop.
Every time
with all of our guests.
That's a little BTS.
Now we're giving you a little view and a little extra.
You'll have to let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, let us know what you think about it. We're trying new things over here. We just try new things. You know, we put the life update at the end.
Yep.
That
was a good idea. We should have done that in the beginning.
Right. But I mean, you learned.
We didn't. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. We didn't know what we were doing. So now
speaking of today felt like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
New
computer.
And
new computer woes.
All the recent things that we've talked about, it really puts things into perspective. And yes, it was a Mondayist Monday, but at least I got to have a Mondayist Monday. But yeah, we're this infamous course, which I don't know when it's going to be finished. People keep asking me, and I hope it's this week, but I really just don't know. And the hard part is because things like today, right? So I'm getting the file ready. That's taking forever. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about that. Whatever. I finally get it all ready. And then new computer, I go to turn on the laser. I open Lightburn and it's like, cool. Your license isn't up to date. I'm like, so then it's like, oh, okay. I get past all that. And it's like, cool. Where's the laser? I'm like, what do you mean? No, where's the laser? Fault. Yeah. Well, no, we're not even to your fault yet. So then I had to, well, yes, it was your fault eventually, but I had to then first contact support. I didn't even know how to connect the thing. Listen, I got my Mira 9 in December 2020. So she is 4 years old in a couple months. I don't remember what the heck I did to add her to Lightburn then. And so I immediately messaged support. I've learned my lesson, to just not jump to support where it's something that I could probably find my answer elsewhere. Right. But I go quicker than I normally would because I'm just adding undue stress on me. And then now I'm sending an email at 2 a.m. hoping they get to me first thing in the morning because there's something I have to cut next day, that kind of stuff. And so I emailed them. They got back to me very quickly. Eon support is really good about that. And he sends me the email and he's like, oh, it's pretty simple. You just do this and this and this. You need the USB that came with your laser. That thing has been gone since pretty probably the laser was set up. I've never been able to find it again. And so I was like, great. Okay, where do I find that? And of course, that reply took a little bit longer because that's just how the universe works. And he sent me back everything I needed, thankfully. And then this is where it's your fault. Then I'm trying to get everything hooked up and it's not working. There's no communication. He's like, oh, well, that's weird. Did you try this? Did you try this? We close down Lightburn. We turn the machine off. We turn it back on. And he comes over and he goes, I am so sorry.
And I said, don't get mad at me.
He said, don't kill me.
Don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, so remember, it's a new computer.
Right. And he hooked up all the things.
Most of the things except for, I was like, let me scooch right in here and plug the other end to the USB for the laser, so that because how we have it is it's the laser is USB to her docking station. Well, I had unplugged that to plug something else in there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna plug this right back in because we were doing a lot of file transfers between old computer, new computer.
You did not plug this right back in.
I didn't plug that back in. So I unplugged what didn't need to be plugged in and plugged the laser in and be like, God, there you go. You should be fine now. And I walked out. Well, I ran out.
Yeah. And
then it worked.
It worked.
Yep.
And then I did run into some issue. It's just I'm going to make it into one of those graphics, but those times when you triple check you're cutting it on the right side and yet somehow cut it on the wrong side. Yeah. Still. Yep. Did that. And then, we squared the gantry last week or the week before. I think it is unsquare again. So we'll we got to look into that. Yeah. And that just added to the Monday. I feel like there was more things than just it just
had to go pick up the boys. You were recording your own content and you didn't record.
I forgot to record a couple steps. Or recorded just the very end of a couple steps. I'm ready to be done. MJ texted me today and she goes, no wonder you're in hell. This sucks. I guess she's starting on something or starting on one, talking about courses. And I was like, don't do it if you don't have to.
Is she doing something on pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I saw her post today about a picture engraved thing that wasn't going well.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was related to that, but so it's just it was all the things, and then the podcast, our new cameras weren't participating, and yeah, it's just the whole thing. And then I'm trying to get in all these extra steps, and I'm like, I don't want to worry about all these extra steps I need to get in when I need to do core stuff, and I need my laser to work, and I need my computer to set up. And so it's been a day, but we're just gonna try again tomorrow.
We're gonna go to sleep and reset.
We are, yeah.
And with that, it's been another great episode of Red Parents. Chris and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.